Hey everyone, you're watching In Studio, and today's guest is Paul W. Downs. How are you?
I'm doing great. How
Thanks
are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming in.
Happy to be here.
For those of you who don't know, it's raining in LA, and we're
It's very
slowly
hard to get
surviving.
here. I
yeah.
know, it was really a challenge. I almost canceled.
You were on time. You were actually early.
Wow,
That's
thank
good,
you so
yeah.
much. Please keep that on record.
That's great,
Okay,
that's
on
great.
time / early, yes.
Now, as all good things come to an end, this is the final season of Broad City.
Yes.
What are you going to miss most about the show, and what do you think viewers are going to miss, I guess, most about watching everything?
I'll probably miss craft services, like free cheese
Okay.
is like something I've always strive for.
You know,
but,
actually, I hate cheese.
Do you really?
I'm like one of the few people who does not like cheese.
Wow, good for you. I
Yeah.
did Whole30 and I went off dairy and it was the hardest part.
I'm doing sober January. It's not Whole30.
Are you
but,
really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's
Cool.
good.
Anyways,
Yeah.
back to
back to the question. It'll be really sad because we have had such a we've been so lucky to make a show with our friends.
Yeah.
Abby, Alana, Lucia, and I especially have been collaborators and friends for like over a decade, and making this show together has been such a labor of love. And I think people respond because, in part, we're all actual friends, and so
Yeah.
that kind of comes through. So that'll be really sad, but it also feels like the right time. You know, we've all kind of grown up, and it's about a very specific time in your 20s in New York. So in a way, it feels like a perfect graduation to the characters. So in that way, it feels like we got to do it before we overstayed our welcome.
And when you know it's the last season, it's kind of like a celebratory season as well.
Yes, well, celebratory and also emo. It gets really
Yeah.
emo, you know. I would say the last half of the season, there's a lot. There's like tears and a lot of, or from the characters.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like saying goodbye and crying, you know.
Did you cry? I don't know if you cried yet.
Everyone did it the last day.
Yeah.
Because actually, most of the cast is in the last episode. So the
That's
series
awesome.
finale was like a goodbye to everybody. It was really
Yeah.
a goodbye. It was very surreal.
This
but
will make
also,
me cry.
yeah, oh, thank you. Please, it'd be great if I could make you cry. That'd be
This is
good.
ball right now. For Trey, what was the inspiration behind that character? You must know someone like that. I think we all might.
We all do.
Yeah.
We all do. I mean, Trey's an amalgamation of a lot of people. I do work with a trainer here who's great, and I did steal a couple phrases from him. He's not really like Trey, but
Does he axe head to toe?
what was that?
Does he axe head to toe?
You know, he might accent. No, I don't think he accents no, but he does do.
It's
He
kinda
does do
gross.
relax your face, which was
Okay.
one thing I did once as Trey. And actually, he told me about Equinox. I think has Trainer Olympics, which became the basis of an
Yeah.
episode. So there are certainly things stolen from him / life, but Trey is just that like over enthusiastic, over eager guy that everybody has seen. Everybody
Everyone
knows.
knows,
Everyone's
yeah.
taken a class with that person.
I just want to get in here, axe my body from head to toe, and then zen out.
There's no I in Solstice.
But there's...
Well, yes, there is.
Now, a lot of people here in the office wanted to know if you and Abby end up together. Last season,
Everyone
is
asks
it a-
this, and I don't think I can answer. I will say this. I will say that to the last moment, there is a will they, won't they, till the very last moment of the show, till the last
Okay.
episode.
Well,
And there's some big risks are taken, some big swings. But I think I should leave it at that.
That's
I
a good
think I
tease.
should. Yeah.
Good
right?
job. Yeah.
Thanks.
One thing you've been really open about is kind of bringing your own personal ideals and beliefs into the work you do.
I will not talk about that.
Can you
no,
kind of
no,
talk
no.
about that? And,
No,
And why is it important for you, and why should, I guess, creators make an effort to do this?
Yeah, I mean, I think because a lot of the stories on Broad City are based in truth, things that happen
Yeah.
to somebody on the show, we want to also...
I was just talking to someone. It's like so real and so outlandish at the same time. It's like that's what it is.
That's great. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've experienced this, but like so much stuff that happens, you're like, I couldn't write this. It's too nuts.
Yeah.
You know, this, like truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
almost every episode is based on some event that happened to one of us. They get much more absurd. We like blow them out. They get
Yeah.
crazy. But at least some genesis of something happened. And so I think it's hard not to be political or civic in the characters, since all of us that make the show are. And also, it's such a privilege to have a platform to even just reframe the way we talk about certain things, whether it be even not overtly political, but just about the way we talk about friendship, or the way we talk about women, or the way we talk about people without homes, or
Yeah.
whatever. I think it's just something that we're actually really, and have become more acutely aware of. We watched season 1 while we wrote season 5, just to like be like,
That's awesome.
what happened on the show?
That's-
Haven't
this is
seen
like-
the show, don't
that's
get
so
the
great,
show.
yeah.
But we were like, wow, even the amount that we have become aware of certain things and certain, even just language, we wouldn't do what we did first season anymore. Like
Yeah.
Ilana is truly a predator. Ilana is a Me Too'er. She like is constantly like slapping at Abby's butt and like, you know what I mean? Like there were things that we were like, wow, cool.
Yeah.
We have to tone that down. But it also, the context has shifted and the time has changed and she's grown up.
In terms of toning things down, it seems like the show has a lot of freedom. Has there been a lot of scenes that you've had to cut
You know,
because of the network, or
yeah,
had like a storyline you scrapped that you wish made it to air?
there are
Can you talk
storylines
about
full storylines that have gone.
Yeah.
But usually it's for time because
Okay.
most of the stuff that's the most outlandish or the most insane is honestly addressed before we shoot. So for instance, we did that pegging episode where there's like dildos and like, so there are so many legal notes that are like, there can be no head, no veins, and no it's like there's so many like prescriptive things. But they're like, as long as it's not flesh colored, you're good to go.
Yeah.
And they've actually been pretty cool about as long as we
It's
tell
like a
them.
fair note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as we tell them what we want to do and work with them, we find a way to make it work. Or there's some other time thing that helps us get away with certain things.
That's so great. What I guess else can you tease about what to expect in the final season?
A lot of the people in the world of Broad City, we always think of it like, you know, it's almost like this, well, if only, we're like the Simpsons, that we have like a huge world
No.
of people that have come and gone and recur, and a lot of those people are coming back. So you see Amy Sedaris as Pam, you see Jean Garofalo, Susie Essman, of course, is back, and Bob Balaban, who
Yeah.
play Alana's parents. So you see a lot of great returning guest stars, and there's some surprise guest stars too. But I think in the past we've had like some big names do the show, and this year it really is about the people that inhabit the Broad City world, and it in some ways is like old school Broad City.
Yeah.
It feels like classic Broad City, if you can say that, after 5 seasons. I don't know if you can say
Because Alana kind of
classic.
talked about that too, is like bringing it back to like what the
Yeah.
show was intended to do.
Yeah, because when we watched season 1, again, to remind ourselves what the show is, we were like, oh, there were some just fun games that were just kooky adventures, and we wanted to do some of those.
Yeah.
And then there's also the matter of knowing it was the last season, finding a way to close the curtain on this chapter of the life of all of these characters, and so we were pretty, it gets emo, you know?
That's great.
Yeah.
What else are you working on that you can kind of talk about, and like what's next for you?
Wow, what can I talk about? The list is so long but so short, you know, in terms of NDAs.
It's very true.
Let's see. Lucia and I are writing a movie right now.
Okay.
And we are about to go out with a show with Jen Statsky, who's a writer for Broad City and The Good Place.
That's awesome. Which I haven't watched yet, but I hear great
Oh,
things about
it's
the Good
so
Place,
great.
yeah.
And in fact, Gemma, who is a trainer at the gym,
Okay.
she plays Janet on the show, and she
That's
is
awesome.
incredibly talented and good. And it's so amazing that the world knows that now, and you know, she's just the best. But anyway, what was the question? Oh, other things we're working on.
Yeah, what are you like?
So
What's going on?
Lucia and I, my partner and I, have a production company, and we are with Walden Books and Mike DeLuca's company producing the Babysitters Club for Netflix.
Oh, that's
Yeah, she's
really cool.
directing the pilot and some episodes, and also they're developing that now.
cast yet or
Not yet cast. No, it's like still pretty early stages.
but you know.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I think actually they're trying to like discover people who are right for these.
I feel like
because,
Netflix
you know,
does a good job at that too.
I think so
yeah.
too, and it's because it's something that has existed. It's like a big franchise that people know. You have to be true, I think, to canon and
Yeah.
like respect the actual characters. So they're trying to find the right person.
Now in your career now, like looking back to I guess young Paul W. Downs.
Wow, the '60s.
Is this? Do you like? Are you not happy? But is this
No.
where you're doing what
Yeah.
you love? Is
Yeah.
this? What would you tell I guess your younger self about?
Don't worry.
What
so
to
much.
expect- okay.
And actually, that's the thing that I stole from.
And worry about what? What did you story about? I
anything and
guess?
everything. I mean, Steve Martin in his book Born Standing Up, he says that he wished he could tell his younger self not to worry.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's like things will work out. Don't stress. Now, part of the worry and anxiety, I think, of being someone who writes and performs, especially for comedians. I'm sure it's
Yeah.
true for whether you're just an actor or just a writer or whatever in any creative space. But comedians, I think, you put yourself out there. A lot of your material is your thoughts and your voice.
Yeah.
And it's such a constant hustle and struggle that I think it's hard not to feel anxious and think about working all the time. I wish I'd chilled a little bit more. But in a way that also fueled my productivity, I think, so it was also good. But I'd be like, hey, it's going to be really fun. So
Yeah.
just enjoy it. Don't get stressed. Enjoy it. You know?
That's great. We're gonna play our staple fishing for answers game that we play with
Whoa.
everyone.
Okay.
Are you a good fisher?
No. But
well, let's see.
who's been the best at this game? Is it? Can you be that?
Emily Blunt and John Krasinski recently
Emily
did
Blunt.
this.
It's so funny. I just called her out as someone I'd like to work with
Oh,
in my
great.
last interview. So
They were probably the best two people for this game.
Really?
Yeah. So pressure's on.
pressure is on. I'm better with straight men. You know, I need someone else to. But maybe you can do it. For me.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
What is your favorite movie theater snack?
Woo.
I think.
Those are good thoughts.
Thank you. I think actually, and is this a word that people know? Nonpareils. You know what a nonpareil is? Those like snow caps. They're called snow
Oh yeah,
caps.
snow caps.
I like snow caps. I also like Reese's Pieces.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a good mix. What's something that they don't serve in movie theaters? I mean, they serve alcohol now, but what's something they don't serve that you want? You want
Lobster.
there?
I would always take lobster.
Oh, that'd be good.
Wouldn't that be
a nice
nice?
movie theater lobster.
Yeah, nice
Oh,
clarified butter with some lobster.
I was
Yeah,
answering
that'd
these
be
for
good.
you here.
Oh, thank you so much. You want one? You can do
Oh,
it.
okay.
What has been your favorite memory working with Alana Glazer and Abby Jacobson? I'll give you separate ones.
Okay.
So
And it doesn't have to. You guys are friends, so it doesn't have to be necessarily like on set or like working.
this
Could
one
be
is
something-
and this one I think Alana has talked about in interviews before, but it is so hilarious to both of us now. I did a show at UCB, a live show called The Paul Down Syndrome.
Yeah.
And way back in the day, Ilana basically was like my stage manager, and she was backstage helping me with wigs and doing stuff. Lucia, who obviously I still work with as well, and is my creative partner, I was directing the show. She watched, so she wasn't backstage. And there was a bit at the end of the show where I came out and I basically said goodnight, and then I turned and I had no back of my clothing, and on
That's great.
my ass it said the end. But every show I did so much shit and I got so sweaty that it would like melt.
Melt off.
So Ilana would touch up the words "the end" on my
That's
ass
so
with a permanent
funny.
marker. So that is honestly like
That's a really
something that
good
we're still
memory.
like,
Yeah.
what?
Does
That's
Broad
what we
City
did?
end with the end on your?
It doesn't.
Okay.
Oh man, if only you were in the writers' room, that
Right,
would have been
that's
good.
such a good idea.
Yeah, and then for Abby, I think, well, our favorite memory that I can tell because it's just us,
Yeah.
it's just us guys,
Yeah.
is we auditioned for our first Herald team together at UCB, and it's something
Okay.
that we constantly somehow comes up, and any of our friends who are around us are like, Jesus Christ, stop with this story, because we tell this story all the time.
Yeah.
We got a drink before, and it was just a fun memory.
How was your time at UCB?
It was great.
Yeah.
It was really great. It was, I think you meet a lot of emerging comedians that now are working, and it's like such a crazy place to cluster and meet people and
Yeah.
collaborate with people. And if we hadn't done that, I wouldn't know Lucia or Abby or Alana.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a pretty special and magical experience. It's so crazy that the original theater's now moved.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, but it's I don't know. It's a special time in our life.
I was thinking about recently taking improv classes, but I don't know.
Do it.
I should.
You
Yeah.
absolutely should. It's such a good thing to. It's
Do you
a
think
good
I'm funny?
skill. Absolutely. But you have to use improv skill
Yeah.
doing this.
To do
So,
this. Yeah. I was thinking about it. It wasn't for this. It was more for like, just me.
Yeah. Okay.
But
honestly, it's good for you and everybody.
Yeah.
You should do it.
here's your next one.
Okay. Wow.
So
Please
many
be
left.
good. Please be good. Who should host the Oscars? Wow. You know what? I have an answer for this.
Okay.
It's so funny because I'm going to try and remember because I had one when it first happened. Oh, I think Kate McKinnon should do it.
That'd be so great.
I don't think she would actually.
No.
But she is so fucking funny. Can I do that?
Yeah.
You can edit
Swear
this.
again. Keep swearing.
She's the best. She's another person that I met at UCB,
That's awesome.
100 years ago. But I think she would be an incredible Oscar host.
Why do you like? I mean, as a comedian, why do you think comedians don't want to host?
I think because there's a lot of pressure to move the show along, and I don't think it's necessarily the platform for you to do your material.
No.
It's like a very specific thing, and I think depending on what it is, like Independent Spirit Awards, maybe less so, or even
No,
Golden
it's like one of the
Globes.
most. That's one of my favorite shows.
Such a fun show, yeah. But I think for the Oscars, it's prestige. So there's a whole like air of I don't even know what something's
Something's in there.
something.
Well, that's
But
for
guess
you.
what? I'll do it. By the way,
Yeah.
I'll host the Oscars anytime. So
I'll co-host. with
2029, baby. Here we go. You co-wrote and starred in Rough Night. Yes. Now the question: how many rough nights have you had in your life? Wow, I've had a lot. I had one recently. I had one recently. Actually, it was New Year's Eve. We went out and it was a rough night. It was
No.
great. It was a great night, but it was like late.
Where
and
were you in New
I was
Year's
in
Eve?
Costa Rica. I was in
Oh.
Costa Rica on New Year's Eve, and we went to this bar, and no one was dancing, so we all were dancing, and then the band was so stoked that we danced that they stayed till after closing, and we stayed in like sang Four Non Blonde songs with these like Costa Rican guys that didn't really speak English, but you know.
Rough night.
It was rough but amazing. The roughest nights are the best nights, right? Oh wow, what went into becoming Zac Efron for your Diary of Zac Efron, and who would you want to make a diary of today? Wow.
What went into that? This is a while ago.
Yeah, it is a while ago. You know, I first did an impression of Zac Efron on Very Mary Kate.
Okay.
You know Very Mary Kate? Elaine Carroll's show. There was a College Humor original.
I'm not too
She played Mary Kate Olsen, and it was such a funny and incredible show.
Yeah.
Check it out, everybody. But I did an impression. I was like, oh, this is really fun. I want to do more of Zac Efron because Zac Efron is, you know, perfect.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of fun to pay homage, but also skewer a little bit. And you know, the impression was pretty easy. It was just like I crossed my eyes and went, awesome, Mom. Basically, that's it.
Yeah.
Awesome, Mom. And it had like those swoopy bangs because it was in the time of swoopy bangs.
swoopy bangs.
Different time. I would have to gain some muscle now to.
So who would you want to do a diary of today?
I'll have to come back to you on that. I don't
Okay,
know.
let me know.
Yeah. I have to be careful because I have so many celebrity friends. It's just too hard. Okay. What was your first impression of working with Rough Night co-star Scarlett Johansson? Johansson. My first impression. So we.
Yeah, like first time meeting her.
I've actually always loved her work and everything from like Lucy to like Ghost Town. And, you know, I've like loved her stuff for so long. But in fact, I saw Lucy like. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But meeting her in person, I was like, oh, she's so chill and cool and smart. I was like, wow. I was very impressed by how much more of a how much more impressed I was in meeting her in person.
Yeah.
You know, you meet people in person, and oftentimes you're like, okay, you know, you're like, wow, you're smaller in person, or you know, or you're like, don't meet your idols. But meeting her was great because she was funny and cool and got it, and she was someone I was like, oh, I would actually hang out with this person, or I would want to. So
That's great.
yeah.
Good to know.
2 more. Here we go. Whew. Oh, here it is. Growing up, who was your favorite comedian? Wow. Robin Williams was my favorite comedian growing up, and Mrs. Doubtfire was my favorite movie growing up, and I've watched it many, many, many times.
The anniversary of the film actually was recently.
Oh, was it?
I think it was
didn't know
25th
that.
anniversary.
I think before his passing, he was going to do
Really?
a sequel. I think
Oh
that
my
was
gosh.
like in the works. I think it's like the perfect screenplay. You can't do it without Robin Williams.
No.
You know what I mean? He's so good and liquid funny. But I also, growing up, really, like the obscure person that I used to watch, like Comedy Central stand-up specials of was Paula Poundstone. I really liked Paula Poundstone. I was like, this woman is hilarious.
That's awesome.
And still is.
Last one.
Last one, okay.
Here we go.
Wow. These are supposed to be earnest, right? I've been answering them honestly.
No, this has been so great.
What is your current favorite TV show? Well, I have to say, I just finished Succession,
Oh my god.
and it's so good.
It's my favorite show.
It's so good.
It's the best. The best
It's
show.
so good. And the last episode was so incredibly good. I was sad that I don't have
Oh,
more.
the ending, yeah.
Yeah. Oof, the ending is,
Everyone should watch it.
it's incredible. Yeah. So I think right now that would be my favorite show.
Because it's such it's a drama, but it's a
Yeah.
funny show. Like, what's his name?
Oh, it's so funny. Tom?
Wasgam. Wasgam.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
the
yeah.
funniest thing ever.
He's so funny.
The best character, yeah.
I know.
And what else is funny is Broad City, which comes back to Comedy Central Thursday, January 24th.
10/9 Central. Hey, Central, it's at 9, okay? Be
Yes.
careful if you live in Central Time Zone.
Thank you so much
Check it out.
for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.